you're doing like a chat marathon or something, like they used to have when we were kids. Oh, we're live. All right, we're doing AuthorVlog live, and I'm chatting with my very good friend, Ann Hunter, who is the author of The Subtle Beauty and Moonlight, not Midnight, even though I always want to call it Midnight, but Moonlight.
Midnight.
And she's joining me from Utah, and we've been having some technical difficulties, so please don't mind that she's half green. It's really a casual situation and should not impede your ability to learn from her in any way, shape, or form. You could always just close your eyes and take in the sound of her voice. Okay, so list of topics. I told you what we were going to talk about. Then I added one to it, and it was one we were talking about earlier, so I thought we'd start with that. Okay. Or actually, you know what? Why don't you do a quick introduction of yourself? Go.
Go. Okay. Well, as Crystal said, I'm Ann Hunter. I've been writing for about 20 years, and I was first published when I was in middle school, and it was really, it's a funny story. But I decided just this year to go indie, and I haven't regretted it. I've had a lot of fun being an indie writer, and I've got my first 2 books already in production for audiobooks, with my 3rd one in the editing stages right now, and 4 more planned for this year, and 5 or 6 planned for 2015. And yeah, I can't really think beyond that. I like it. I love it. I'm inspired by just various things. My cover designer does great covers, and I often ask him to do covers so that I'll have something more to write. Not that another 10 novels in the next year will run me short. So.
10 novels in a year is really a lot, though, because especially with the way you've been writing with your current one, like your goal was 20,000 and now you're upwards of 80. You've written like 4 books in one.
We hit 62,000 today, and the new chapter I added is about 7,500 words, so that's going to need some work. But it's not. There's other chapters that are about 6,000 each.
Wow.
So it's out of the norm. But yeah, I'm trying to streamline that story a little more.
Yeah. In my Zoe Thanatos book, I don't think I have a chapter that's more than 6,000 words, maybe. It's 24 chapters broken up into 3 sections of 8. But yeah, I don't have anything that long. And then I always feel guilty if my chapters are too short, like I'm cheating the reader or something. But yeah, I've been publishing for almost 3 years, or 2.5 years now, and I only have 10 titles. So you're very ambitious.
I am ambitious. I like to say crazy, but one of the great quotes in Burton's Alice in Wonderland is like, "You're absolutely mad, but all the best people are." So I like to do 10 impossible things before breakfast, so count those as my novels.
Okay, so one of the things you and I were chatting about earlier is summer sales. This is your first summer being in a published author on Amazon, and traditionally, unless you're just really lucky, summer sales have been kind of down. You see a lot in the springtime and even more in fall and the winter, and I don't know why that is. I'm sure there's probably an explanation for it. But we both have been doing rather well, all things considered, in the summer months.
Absolutely.
So how well have you been doing? Are you meeting your expectations for the summer, or are you exceeding?
I came into summer with being advised by more established writers that the summer months are slower, and to sort of brace for that. My sales have been about half as much. I've made let's see, I'm thinking here. I usually during the springtime I sold almost a copy a day, but these summer months I've gone down to about 15 to 20 books sold in the month, as opposed to the full 30, 35.
Mm-hmm.
But I still enjoy it. I like when it's nice when they sell, but they'll go a couple days between sales, and I'm like, come on, sell something, and then they'll finally sell.
It's really weird. It's also kind of heartbreaking when you have those. You look on your sales page and it's just like we were saying. It looks like a heart line that's died.
Yes.
When it goes completely flat. It's
It
so sad.
reminds me. It reminds me of a scene from The Golden Girls where Sophia explains to Dorothy about when the home burnt down, and she says, "Well, the alarms went off. Do you know what that does to people whose heartbeats only beat a couple times a week?" Yeah, it went from doo 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 doo, and
Yeah.
now it's like doo doo. It's like it had a stroke.
Oh yeah. I remember last month I sold, and then after June 3rd I didn't sell anything. And then randomly I bought my own book and my sales went up. So it was like it was very odd. And now they've kind of stagnated again. I've had like 9 sales this month, which I think if I were to look back in my records, I would find that's pretty good. But I also have more titles, and I think I have a better series now with the Bidden series than I did with the Nick and Layla series. I think it's more marketable and more now and better
Mm.
edited.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Okay, so the next topic I wanted to touch on was Kindle Unlimited because that's what everyone's talking about right now. Um, it's funny, there was an ad for it on YouTube, and the other day when we watched it, I think it had 66% thumbs down. We thought maybe it was a troll video or something. Maybe it wasn't legit, and that's why people downvoted it. But it was by Amazon, and people just didn't like it. And this seems to be causing a lot of, as the English would say, controversy in you know how it's going to impact independent authors. So, how do you feel about it, and do you think you'll participate in it?
I didn't really notice an increase in sales when I participated in Kindle Select itself, so I probably won't participate in it, or I'll be hesitant to. I think a lot of people, they kind of feel, anti-change. So they're like, no, no, no changes. When everything's going hunky-dory.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be mixed reviews for a while. A lot of people see their books going crazy and being borrowed left and right, and others won't see a change like I did. Mine sold just as well in Kindle Select as they did out of it. Um, so yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of mixed reviews there. One review from a person I saw online recently said that he noticed 4 times more downloads and borrows of his book than when he didn't participate in the new program. So I think we'll have to wait and see
Yeah.
and see where that goes.
I always kind of feel like if we wait and see and it takes off and it's super successful, then we're going to kick ourselves in the butts thinking, why didn't I take a chance on it? Which has been kind of my attitude. I only had one title that was not, my Zoe book is not on any other platform. And I remember waiting for it to get off Select, and then life happened and I never moved it to Smashwords and well, just Smashwords. So it's just been sitting on Amazon but not in KDP Select. But it doesn't sell anything. So I kind of figured, well, we'll try it out and see if it works, and it'll be like my test program because I'm not selling any of those books anyway. So I kind of feel like I'm not really losing or gaining anything. So it's kind of zero risk, you know.
Right. Well, that's a shame because Zoe's a fun book, and
Thank you.
I hope you see benefits from the new program. Um, but yeah, so I kind of felt like when mine were out, I couldn't wait for them to get out because I didn't like the exclusivity of it. I liked having them on as many platforms as I could get them on and get out
Right.
there and shown.
Yeah, I think what's great about KDP Select is that when you first start out, there's some sort of return on it because you just want people to read your work, and it gives you the option to do that. And you know that when you go through those 5 free promo days, they're not going to count as sales anyway. At least you should know that. Not you,
Hmm.
but the author in general.
Right.
So there's already this expectation of during these 5 days, just going to give it away for free. Maybe there will be an uptick in sales afterwards, maybe not. So you kind of don't really lose anything, and you only have something to gain. But with Kindle Unlimited, it doesn't seem there's any, and then also with the exclusivity, I think that's unfair to independently published authors.
Yeah.
But again, we have to wait and see. I like being on all the other channels. I never used to be, and I find that I'm selling. Um,
It's nice. One of the
yeah.
things I did this with when I was in KDP Select with my first book, The Subtle Beauty, I gave away, I did the little programs, the select days, where I did it for free, and I think I did 3, 2, 2, something like that. And the first time it was given away, it got like 800 downloads, and I had another author tell me that I would probably see an uptick in sales about 3 months after that. And that was in March, and she was right because just this last month, it started selling left and right. Like my Moonlight one that I really like, and I feel it's the better book. It doesn't get nearly as many sales, and I'm laughing. I'm like, why are people buying this one book? And what you said just now that you may not see a return on the sales, or it might be a delay or whatever. That's what I feel like it's been. It's been the delay between a couple months. You might not see it right away, but I do think it will happen. So for the other authors out there, keep hope, and hopefully they'll bounce back and they'll tell their friends, and their friends will be like, oh yeah, that was that one book. I should probably go get that.
Yeah. But I found the same thing with what you were saying about the subtle beauty selling more than Moonlight. Before Bidden, I was selling my Nick and Layla series, even though I was like, really? I don't think it's that great. I wrote the first 3 a very long time ago, and I kind of updated it to be modern or of the times. But it's not something I actively promote because I don't want to say I'm ashamed of it, but it's just, it doesn't reflect my writing now, I think, even though I've written 2 more sequels to it.
Hmm.
Um, but so now I'm kind of glad that I have this other romance series to replace it and kind of promote that instead. It's something I'm really proud of. And but yeah, but so going off of that, what has been your most successful platform to sell books on?
Hands down, it's been Amazon. Like I said, before summer hit, I was selling at least a copy a day, and on Barnes and Noble and Kobo, I've sold maybe 10 copies in the 6 months that I've been an indie author, as opposed to 30 or 40 copies a month um, on Amazon up until summer. So yeah, Amazon is hands down. It sells very well there.
Wow. That's really good though. I find the same thing. I'm selling on Smash Shorts through the distributed channels on Kobo, Barnes and Noble, the iBookstore. And this other one that I didn't recognize but I saw popped up today. But I have a perma-free book on there, and I think that's the only one that's actually selling. So it looks like I have sales, but it's for a free book. So, but then I'm not seeing any at all, any purchases for the second, third, fourth, or fifth book
Right.
after the first free one. So I wonder if perma-free in that sense is even worth it, if there's no follow-through on the rest of the series, it
Mm-hmm.
kind of seems like maybe it'd be better to get, instead of people who just get 99 cent or free books because they're free, if they're spending 99 cents on it or $1.99 or $2.99, there's more of an obvious an investment in it. So I wonder if it's better to do it for not perma-free, because then you have someone who's actually interested and will buy it, and then you make money from it.
Right.
So,
Well, I think there's two sides of the coin there. Even with some of the bigger name indie authors like Hugh Howey and whatnot, they waited years for even a bite.
yeah,
People would download their books sporadically, but it didn't lead to other sales. So that's the one side of the coin. The other side is, people, they do feel more motivated to read the book when they've paid money for it, as opposed to, oh, it was free, so I can get to that later. I've got these other ones that I've already paid for and whatnot.
yeah. I I don't know, the whole system of it is a constant game of what's going to work, and then when you think you found something that works, it stops for a while or forever, and you think, well, that wasn't the answer. What is the answer? And we're at such a disadvantage in that sense because we do everything ourselves. At least we try to. I know you and I do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard trying to get that right, you know, ingredient list and of what's going to work and what the right answer is, and it just doesn't exist, unfortunately, except to have a good book and a good cover and a good blurb. That's kind of
Right.
like the holy trifecta of you're more likely to sell books that way. And then you have
Mm-hmm.
outliers, crappy books or crappy covers that still sell, and you're like, why?
How is this possible?
Yeah. And I know it's subjective. I know that it's like art, that some people consider Jackson Pollock to be masterpiece art, and other people say that is paint dribbles on canvas. Like some people think Fifty Shades of Grey is an amazing story, and other people disagree with that sentiment with varying degrees of hatred. um, but yeah, so okay, moving on.
Well,
So
I wanted to touch on just what you said. You said, just when you figure out what works, it changes. I think that's true with everything worthy that you do in life. I found that even as a parent, I found like, oh, this is working really well, and then the game changes. So,
yeah,
and that goes with the professional life too. And if you ever get down, you can think of the 12 publishers that turned down Harry Potter, and yeah, you'll feel better, I think.
that's true. I mean, but that was kind of, I mean, that's an anomaly. That's like Harry Potter is like the ninth wonder of the world, or the eighth wonder of the world. It's an extra wonder of the world, of the modern world.
Right.
Um,
And on negative reviews, you can remind yourself of your favorite authors, because we all get down about negative reviews and the game changing and whatnot. Think of your favorite authors that are popular and amazing, and they get negative reviews. So
I
I'm
don't
happy.
have a problem with negative reviews as long as they're logical. Like if someone says 1 star, you know what? It just wasn't my cup of tea. There wasn't
Mhm.
anything wrong with it. It just wasn't feeling the story. That's fine because obviously you can't please everyone and everyone has a different preference.
Right.
People who are like, oh my god, this is so stupid, and they make up these very elaborate, they're basically trolling you at this point, these stories about what's wrong with it and how I guess anybody can publish a book. Like, that's
Yeah.
not constructive, that's not helpful, and you're bringing down my star average. So, like, the legitimate negative ones where they have valid opinions don't bother me. I take that as, okay,
Yeah.
can
Those
I
are helpful. And what may bother one person with a 1 star review may intrigue another reader who ends up leaving a 3 or 4 star review.
Yeah. Well, because I know, like, for you and me, we get bothered by glaring grammatical errors, and I know you were instrumental in me really taking a very detailed look at my books, my last two ones, and finally editing them, which is something I was lazy about before, and I kind of dismissed it because I was busy. But as a reader, though, that bothers me. So why should I let that slide if I wouldn't let it slide as a reader? And so, yeah, that's the one thing. If I see that, I just stop reading because I see them in popular books all the time. So that
Yeah.
kind of makes me feel better.
The advice I can give is no matter what you do in life, do your very best. Put out the best product you can, no matter what it is.
You should be proud of it. You shouldn't be afraid to tell your friends and family about it or afraid to promote it. I know I get very shy when I tell people, oh, I write erotic romance, because then they look and they're like, but then I have to say, you shouldn't be thinking about me when you read it. You should be
Right.
thinking about the characters and yourself,
Characters,
not.
of course. Yeah.
But if you think my life is like that, thank you very much. um, so another thing is we kind of discovered that, and this is only authors on Amazon may know this, but there is that pricing feature on the second page of the edit screen when you edit your book details, where it takes the data from your book and it tells you, okay, this is what other books in your that are similar to yours have sold out, and it sold at, not sold out. And this is the price thingy we recommend. But every single one was $2.99, and that's already what my books are at.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if it's actually helpful, or if $2.99 is just kind of the answer it gives you no matter what. What did you think
Um,
of it?
well, I just discovered it today myself, thanks to you, and I was playing with it, and I ran it through several of my books, not just the fantasy ones I write, but also more contemporary fiction and some black comedy. And it said the same thing for everyone. It says like it's based on other books in the genre, but for every single one, it said 2.99, 2.99. Even on a book that I had set at 2.99, it said, "Hey, would you like to set this to 2.99 at 70%?" And I'm like, "No, because you're an idiot," and I shut it
Oh my
out.
gosh.
It was dumb. It was lame. I mean, if you're brand new to it and you don't know what to set it at, definitely do 2.99. You're gonna get $2 because
Yeah.
70% of the royalty is fabulous. Um, but I've seen a lot of people have success with the higher prices. You can go up to like $4.99, and I think still do well. It's all about people valuing the work and you valuing yourself. As a new author, you probably want to go a little lower, but when you get more established, you can probably go, $1 or more higher. So
Hmm.
that's something that I'm looking forward to trying when I launch my next book. I have my first two books at $2.99 now, and the next one I'm going to try launching at $3.99 to see how it goes,
Hmm.
and kind of adjust from there over the next several months.
Okay. Well, let me know how that works, because I've tried them at so many different price points, and I think $2.99 is the lowest acceptable amount because you still get the 70%. It's the lowest you can charge and get 70%. You get $2 from it, and $2.99 sells. I think, I don't know, how much is the most that you would pay for an ebook? Like, not one necessarily by an independent author, but by anyone.
By anyone, I think my limit personally is $4.99.
Yeah. I mean, that's less than Starbucks, almost. Just scary for Starbucks. But that's me too. I know that I look at books when I'm at Target. If I see one I like, I scan it and look it up on Amazon, because the ebook is 98% of the time always less expensive. And if it's like less than $4, I'll buy it. Even if I'm broke, I'll probably still buy it because
Mhm.
it's still affordable. So I try and keep that in mind. with my pricing. But I think it's, again, you never know what the sweet spot is for anything when you're a self-publisher, and pricing is just one of those things that people talk about constantly, like that and word length. Like, if I'm writing this genre, how long should my book be? Well, no one can tell you that. Like, these are,
I know.
The
It's as
general.
long as it needs to be.
Yeah,
Tell the
you can
story.
you can sell an $83,000 or 83,000 word book for $2.99, or a 2,000 word short story for $1.99. It just all depends on, I don't know anyone buying 2,000 words at $1.99, but I think that was everything on our to-do list. Let's see. Oh, I was going to ask you what you're currently working on.
It's a book called Fallen. This year I've been, well, to back it up a little, I took a 10-year hiatus off from writing. This year the last year or so I've been writing, and I just wanted to have fun this year and kind of get my groove back, get my skills back before I launch my flagship series next year that I've been working on for a very long time. Right now I've been doing fairy tales, fantasy, really fun. The fractured fairy tales are kind of a popular genre right now. I know several writers that are doing well in them. But my next book is called Fallen. It's a fractured retelling of the Frog Prince, kind of a backstory of what he did to get himself turned into a frog. Um, it's I'm focusing more on the love story aspect of it between he and the girl that he falls in love with, because it boils down to the villain, the antagonist, um, wants my main character for herself, and she wants to break that up, and he goes to great lengths to try to save that love, and eventually loses his humanity in the process. And so yeah, it's just kind of fun. As I've been editing, I've been trying to flesh out the world more to give it more gravity and more feeling, and make it more tangible, and to make the characters more relatable, because in the first draft my main character Silas is not really relatable. I wanted to make him kind of stuck up and an anti-hero, because he's the villain in my other two books, The Subtle Beauty and Moonlight. So I wanted to do an anti-hero book, and even though we may not like him as he progresses and loses himself, we can relate to when he loses a loved one, or if he loses a friend. Those are very relatable in human experiences. So hopefully that'll be out in the next month or so. I've been writing very passionately lately, and I'm looking forward to a long weekend of writing. We're going out of town, and I'll be stuck in a car with no internet. And what do you do as a writer with no internet? You write, because you have no distractions.
But you have kids in the car, so you get distracted with kids in the car, right?
Well, see, we have a game plan, because we're going to leave when our smallest one is her nap time, so we hope she'll sleep for half the ride. And the other one, she got spoiled on her birthday. She got a tablet for her birthday and turns into a zombie when she has it. So I think it's going to be pretty quiet.
I don't know how you can do that in the car and not throw up and not get sick. I was
blessed growing up. I was always able to read in the car and really enjoy it. So it's not too big of a difference for me.
Yeah, I don't even think I could read in the car anymore. I listened to an audiobook in the car once, and I fell asleep, and then I was like, wait, what happened? And audiobooks flummox me, and I really want to like them. I'm having my book made into one, but I feel like I can't even listen to certain kinds of books on audiobook. It has to be like an autobiography or some sort of like Ellen DeGeneres book or a book by Mindy Kaling. Otherwise, I can't get into it. I have Game of Thrones on Audible, but and Audible is not sponsoring this in any way. I just generally like them, but I don't know if I can listen to Game of Thrones because those kinds of books are so involved,
Oh yes.
and I like the immersive reading experience, and I don't think you get the immersion in an audiobook. It
Right.
remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, when I'm in a car, I have to have somebody either. Yeah, I pretty much have to have somebody talking to me to keep my brain alert while I'm driving,
yeah,
or bad things happen. I can't do the radio. I can't do like an audiobook. It has to be like somebody actually stimulating my brain. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, with Game of Thrones, it's a great series. I enjoy reading it, but Martin makes me feel completely inadequate as a writer.
Aw.
I just curl up and I'm like, no, no,
Don't
I
you?
can't publish anything.
It's like that scene. Have you seen that Woody Allen movie, something Midnight? The one in Paris?
Nope.
And okay, so he's talking to, I forget which famous author he's talking to. And he said, "Will you read my manuscript?" And the guy says, "No, because I'm going to hate it. If it's good, I'm going to hate it because I'll wish I would have written it. If it's bad, I'll just hate it because it's bad." And I feel like, isn't that so true? I read stuff that other people do, and I'm like, why can't I write like this? Like, even when I read your stuff, I like, why can't I write in this cinematic way where
Mhm.
you paint this picture so well and you give atmospheric details that I don't think I normally consider when I'm writing, but I've tried to recently.
Oh,
Um,
good.
Sometimes I find myself, I'm describing something and I'm like, yes, at this because that's what you would do. So that's what Anne would do. So I'm trying to adopt that as well in my own style. But
I'm glad I rubbed off on you. Hopefully, that it, it'll be good things. Um, what bad things? No, don't do my bad habits. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that that's adding to your books because your books are enjoyable, and
thank you.
yeah, I like to see them flourish even more and grow even as your career grows.
Well, I have not forgotten that we agreed that when, not if, but when our books take off and we are fabulously rolling in the dough, we're going to have a house somewhere in Utah, I think it was, or Colorado or something, and it's going to be our writer's retreat.
Our little
And,
condo.
and we're just going to be like, darling, I'm off on the jet. I'll see you in a few days. I'm going to go write with my dear friend. And drink lots of coffee while we're there and like go to all the little restaurants.
And all that good things. Yep.
But for now, we're not doing that. But that's okay. We can use our imaginations. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add? Because my topics for AuthorVlog card is now complete.
I just want to say thank you for having me, and
Of
it's been
course.
really I've really enjoyed doing this, and I hope we can collaborate again in the future to help educate other indie authors.
Yes, I hope so too. And I hope you'll come back and maybe not be half green
We'll
throughout
work
the
on
whole. I mean, I know you really like your character Silas, but I think you're identifying with his frog princeness a little too much, and I'm concerned for you. You should
wait,
probably see someone. You should see the literary psychiatrist who will prescribe you medication and better Wi-Fi.
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? You get it? Green.
Where do I
From
know that from?
Kermit the Frog.
Oh, no, I have the other song like, why do birds suddenly appear every time you walk near?
Okay, yep.
Let's stop before we start singing even more. Because it's been a while since singing happened in any professional capacity, and yeah. Well, thank you very. Are you going to say something?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, just add that you're welcome anytime to join my Anne Sings Badly days that I post on my fan page.
But see, Crystal sings badly is every single day. But sometimes I'll like do a random note, and Jeffrey will be like, "That was really good." I'm like, "Yes, it's really good. I was in choir, and we were conducted by
An amazing man.
an amazingly scary man who was amazingly wonderful, and yet amazingly wonderful but amazingly scary." And
He was, but I really feel that we have a lot to, you know, thank him for. Thank him for our discipline as writers and our
oh yeah,
dedication.
for sure. So yeah, that concludes our very first author vlog live. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see more and hear more, please let me know. I'd be happy to maybe in the future talk with other authors. But Anne is the only one I like right now. Just kidding. So hopefully have her back on and with better technical capabilities. But if not, it doesn't impede your ability to learn from her and her growing amount of experience. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Bye, everybody.